Get ready to light up your bike with Fastlights LEDs, the most popular and most trusted LED light system on the road today. This installation video will show you simple step-by-step instructions. Vernon, our top-rated electronics technician, will be your guide. Our goal is to make your installation as simple as possible. The tools needed to install Fastlights LEDs include a wire crimper, needle nose pliers, wire stripper, Phillips head screwdriver, a can of denatured alcohol, and a rag. Fastlights LEDs has 4 kits to choose from: Basic, Deluxe, Supreme, and the Ultimate. The Basic kit includes one multi-function controller with remote, one inline fuse holder, 2 18-inch chameleon strips, and 2 12-inch strips. The Deluxe kit includes one multi-function controller with remote, one inline fuse holder, 4 18-inch chameleon strips, 2 12-inch strips, and a 3Y connector. The Supreme kit includes one multi-function controller with remote, one inline fuse holder, 4 18-inch chameleon strips, 4 12-inch strips, a 2Y connector, a 4Y connector, and a 36-inch extension wire. The Ultimate kit includes one multi-function controller with remote, one inline fuse holder, 6 18-inch chameleon strips, 4 12-inch strips, a 2Y connector, a 3Y connector, a 4Y connector, and a 36-inch extension wire. This video will show you how to install each individual kit, from the Basic to the Ultimate. Ready to begin? Let's start!
Our Fastlights LEDs can go on any bike, and every bike is a little bit different. But today we're going to be working on the Harley-Davidson Ultra Classic.
First, you need to remove the seat. Check for fastening areas and remove all screws.
Now we're ready to take the seat off. So take your hand right here to the back of the seat, lift up, and then slide back. Seat comes right off. Before you take your seat off, if you do happen to have a heated seat, there is a plug under there, so make sure you unplug that before you actually take the seat all the way off.
Once the seat is off, choose a location to place the multifunction controller. It should be located near the battery, and any open area will do the trick. Rub denatured alcohol on both the controller and the area where the controller will go. Unravel the positive and negative wires and strip them apart about 3 inches from the top.
My favorite option to make sure that the box doesn't move around too much is to secure it with the 3M double back tape. You could also use zip ties. Make sure the tape is flat against, there's no air bubble in between.
Take the controller and place it inside a space near the battery. Then press the tape side against a flat surface. Here you can see what a correctly mounted controller looks like.
So on this particular bike, we put this box down here in the crevice, of course. All right, and you actually have a real nice opening right down here, so the wire's not just sitting over. We're gonna hide it right up under here and bring it out right here. Now from this point, what we are going to do is strip these just about, I would say about 1/4 inch. So you're gonna be right about there. And just a little tip, these are 16 gauge.
Now it's time to take out the inline fuse holder.
The fuse will pop and protect your bike from essentially smoking, lighting on fire, anything bad like that. You're gonna take the fuse itself, stick that into the fuse holder. All right, that's in there. Put your little waterproof cap on. So now again, we're gonna strip this a little bit, just like these, okay? Okay. So what we're gonna do is take this right here. Now on the inline fuse, you're gonna be looking at 12 gauge. Stripping that. Same thing on the other side.
Okay.
This is your wire crimper, and this is where we're gonna need it, okay? We're gonna use this for crimping the inline fuse onto the box itself, and it's going on the positive. And as you can see, if you look in there, you wanna hit the metal. And if you look at it from the sides, you have the little line right there. That's where you wanna hit, right there, okay? I usually like to hold it in the crimper. Do not crimp yet. Push that wire in there, make sure it's in there nice and snug, and now you crimp. Give it a good squeeze, make sure it's nice and tight. Good way to check it is to just grab and pull, give it a good tug. All right, now we can grab the other side, and again, make sure you grab the metal, not the plastic on the end. Take this, we're gonna stick that in there. All right, make sure you get that all the way in there. All right. Squeeze. All right. There you go. Your inline fuse is now installed. This is your battery terminal spade, and this is going to go on your positive and your negative line, connecting your box to the battery. So what you're going to want to do now, just like the butt connectors, stick that in there. If you want to check, you can look at the top, see the wire coming through a little bit. I'll wiggle it for you, and crimp. Give it a nice squeeze. There you go. This is your negative from your box.
Got it.
And we are going to add a battery spade to this as well. All right. As you can see, that pushed through. That's what you want. Crimp it down. If you do have an alarm system from Harley-Davidson installed on your motorcycle, make sure you turn your ignition switch on before disconnecting any terminal of the battery, or your alarm system will sound and drive you insane.
Now you're ready to connect both positive and negative wires to your battery. Simply loosen the battery terminals and slide the wires into place.
Make sure to be extra careful when you are tightening and loosening the positive terminal not to touch the wrench or screwdriver to the frame. It will short.
Finally, tuck away the inline fuse holder into an open space near the battery.
Another quick tip for you, once you get power to the control box, what you're going to want to do is make sure your multifunction remote and your strips are all working properly by plugging them in and just giving them a quick test and run through. We're going to start with just our basic kit, which covers the engine area. First, you want to clean it, always clean it. All right, denatured alcohol on a rag. Make sure you get in there. All of our Fast Lights LEDs can be modified to length every third diode, okay? So, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, right in between the third and fourth LED. Want to make sure you get a good cut straight in the center, nice and even. And that's all there is to it. Now that we have cleaned the area and cut our strip to length, we can now peel the wax paper off and stick our strip. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take this. I always start at the back of the strip where the boot of the LED strip is. Okay, I stick that first. Give it a nice firm press to make sure it's stuck all the way around. All right, and then you can just work your way down the LED strip. Work your way down, and that's it. I like to go back over it, do a double check, make sure the entire strip is actually pressed onto the surface. Make sure you have no piece of the strip hanging down.
After installing each light strip, simply place the electrical wiring near the control box. Once all your light strips are in place, we will show you how to manage each wire. But for now, let's move on to placing a strip around the horn. Don't forget to rub clean all surface areas with denatured alcohol.
So now that we have the surface area clean for our horn, we are going to measure and make sure that we do not need to modify this strip at all. Stick this in here, measure it. So pull that through, down like this, stick this side down. Wrap it around and measure. So again, we are going to have to modify our strip. Okay, so we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, and cut right here. So we got our wax paper off of our strip. Let's go ahead and stick that on the horn. I like to stick my wire, the end of the wire, down in here first on the left side of the horn, going down and pulling it through. Okay. So now, be careful not to let the strip itself grab before you're ready to put it on. Okay. This is where it gets tricky doing the horn. What you're gonna wanna do is make a U right here. Take your left hand, leave some space with the strip and stick it down through. And try not to let the strip itself grab before you pull the strip all the way down. Okay, and that's it. Wrap it down around onto the bottom, and that's it. So now you have your wire coming through the horn from the bottom, and what you're gonna wanna do is bring this up. Okay, you're gonna wanna come up through here. Pull it tight. Okay. And what we're gonna do is throw a zip tie right here where you see my finger.
Yep.
Okay. Take a smaller zip tie.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick that through. Just like this. Pull the zip tie tight and it will hold your wire in place. Cut the end off of the zip tie, and that's it. Now we're going to finish wiring up the horn back to the box. This is one of the more complicated areas to do, is the horn in the air cleaner. Okay, so let's do this. What we're going to do is take this wire and we're actually going to come up through, up to this spark plug wire right here. Okay, as you can see, you can pull it down a little bit, but just make sure that you do let it come back up. All right, so I'm gonna grab the wire, pull it back through. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, now instead of trying to get your zip tie right here, what you can do to make your life a little easier is grab the wire, throw the zip tie around, actually slightly connect the zip tie, leaving a big loop. Now you can take your wire, run it through. Now you can slide your zip tie to the left where we need it to secure the wire. Pull it tight. Again, make sure this is where you want it, your wire. And tighten your zip tie. And let's pull this up, just like your tank strip, right up through here. You're here. And there's your box right here. It's ready to be plugged in. As you can see, you just completed your left side of your basic engine compartment kit. Now we just got to go to the other side and finish that one up. So now we're going to clean our air filter. Just about every air filter is going to be different. All right. On this one, we're just going to clean the bottom where the strip is going to go. Let's measure this out real quick. All right. So now that we measured, that's where it ended, where we're going to stick. So now let's count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we'll cut right here. All right. Let's go directly in the center. Snip. So now we'll take the wax paper off. We're going to stick our strip right along the bottom here. So now what we're going to do is wire this up. What I usually do is try and keep it away from the motor itself. All right, so I'm gonna throw a zip tie on this existing wire back here. Cut the excess. All right. You always got these right up here. Okay. I usually go on the inside of the left one. Okay. What you're going to want to do is take a longer zip tie. I usually shape it so it's a little U. Come back. Grab a wire. Okay, hold that there. This is where your needle nose pliers come in handy.
Got it.
All right. You're gonna want to reach in there. Grab the other end of your zip tie. Make a loop. All right. Just start it. Just so you have a loop back there on the wire.
Okay.
Okay. Now what you're going to want to do, stick your strip itself through the loop.
Okay.
While still holding the zip tie. Make sure you don't drop it back into the motor. Okay. Take your needle nose again. And now you can start tightening just a little bit. Don't tighten it all the way up. Now what you're going to want to do is grab the zip tie and try and push that up as high as you can. Sometimes it's easier with your hand, like this time.
The only thing left to do now is connect the light strip wires to the multifunction controller. Simply snap both ends together and you're finished.
You have just completed your engine compartment basic kit. Okay, now we're going to go to our deluxe kit, our supreme kit, and ultimate kit by simply adding more strips. We are now going to do your bag rail. All right, we have just cleaned the bag rail, and now we're just measuring real quick. And as you can see, we are not going to have to cut any of this strip to make this work. Now we are going to wire our bag rail strip. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to throw a zip tie right here first. right around the strip and the frame. Pull her tight. Make sure you do not go around the back because of your belt. If the wire comes loose at all, it will catch the belt and it will snap in half. So what you want to make sure you do is come through the front over here, and you can connect to any of these wires. Throw a zip tie up here. Now you can keep coming through here. The cover is going to hide all of this wiring, so you can really come through wherever you would like. Okay?
Got it.
All right, and now we are back to our box. So now we got our extension wire. We are now going to go to the front wheel of the bike. With your extension wire, you're going to want the male side, and we are going to start right here at the neck of the bike, and you're going to shove it right down through here. Okay. Might be a little tricky, just kind of wiggle it around, and it should come through. Do not pull the extension all the way through. Let this sit right like that, about 6 inches out. All right. Now what we are going to do is make sure you go behind the fuel supply line, which is right here. Okay. Behind the petcock here. All right, just like this. And then you're gonna go right over through here. Okay, so you got this here, and you got about, oh, those are kind of stuck. All right, you want those behind there. All right, there you go. You got 6 inches over here, and then you got 6 inches over here. All right, you have a hold of the male side and the female side of our extension wire. Wiggle them back and forth and pull tight. And the wire should be sitting way up under the gas tank, away from the motor, and very nicely hidden. So this is our extension wire. We're gonna zip tie this, all right, along with our other loose wires here. All right. Make sure they're all nice and tight. Give it a good pull with the zip tie. Cut the excess. All right. And then we're going to go to the other end of the extension wire.
Okay.
All right. On this particular bike, we are actually going to run this up and over to the other side of the bike and fasten it with a zip tie. We are on the other side of the bike. We have the female side of the extension wire here, and what we are going to do is fasten this to any one of these wires. I'm going to use this wire right here. Nice and tight. Cut this excess off. And now your extension wire is ran. So now we are going to do the front brake caliper to light up your front wheel. Let's take this up and measure it out. We're going to wrap this strip all the way around the brake caliper, so we're not going to need to cut any off. A quick tip when you're running the brake caliper strip, you want to make sure your wire side goes to the side of the wire coming up the bike. Okay, so on this one we are going to run the strip this way and not this way. So now what we're going to do is just very slightly take it up, grab it with this hand, and we are going to start on the boot end as always. Stick that. Make sure you got a good stick. All right, and now just follow it around. You need zip ties.
Okay.
And all you're going to do now is zip tie them up all the way up the brake line to meet up with our extension wire. So here is our strip. All right, and the wire itself. And this wire has to go over to the other side of the bike because that's where our extension wire is. All right, so I am now going to secure this wire going over to the other side to meet up with the extension wire. Now here's where you need the two-way splitter. Reason being is because you're going to do both sides of your calipers, run them up. Your two-way splitter is going to connect to your extension, and you can plug both of your strips into the two-way splitter. All right, two-way splitter. You're going to plug the male end into the female extension, just like that. And you got your wires from your strips on your brake calipers, and you're plugging them in. And then just however you want to do it, clean up your wires and zip tie them to existing wires. Quick tip, when you are doing your underglow strip, you want to make sure that you put the strip at a 45-degree angle and not straight down. Reason being is so you can still use a lift to lift your bike. If you do happen to scrape something, you don't hit the strip, you just scrape frame. No bike is complete without the underglow section on our Fast Lights Ultimate Kit. It really completes the bike. So now we're ready to stick the strip. Okay. Take this, make sure you get it at that 45-degree angle so the lift can still go under the bike. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wire this wire on the left side of the underglow right underneath the bike to the right side of the underglow, and then both of the wires are going to be ran up together back to the control box. This underglow strip I just stuck is exactly the same as the other side that we've done. And now we are going to connect both of the underglow wires, and we are going to run them up as one wire. Okay. Back to the control box. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run this up through here to catch right here, as you can see. All right, so let's grab both of these, pull them up tight. Now we're going to secure them with some zip ties with some existing wiring right here, making a small loop with the zip tie. All right, pull your wires through. Okay. Now you got all these wires to secure to. You can run these things right up through all of them. And now you're back to your control module right here. All of this is what you're going to end up with. But right now, this is where we do some cable management. All right. What I first do is divide all of the cables from left to the right side. So all the cables on the left, you can pull over to the left. All the cables on the right, let's pull over to the right. These three right in here, they are just coming up through the center, so we'll leave these here. All right, so now you got them split up and you kind of have an idea what you can do with them. Let's get these three right here because they're the closest. Take a three-way splitter that comes in your package, and we'll start plugging these in to these strips themselves. All right, 1, 2, and 3. Now, let's plug this in. And we can kind of get this down in there. Throw a zip tie right around that. These are short, so you're not gonna really wrap them up too much. You don't want them too tight. So there's that. And we can just tuck that down in there now. That's 3 done. Let's go to this one. You got 3 strips here. And this one you got 2. So what we can do is first bring these down closer to the box so they're not just dangling down into there. All right. Let's cut these. All right. And we got these two. Do the same thing on this side real quick. Now that we got that, you got 3 here, 2 here. Doing a little bit of simple math here, and you got 3 plugs left and a 4-way splitter. Okay. So now let's plug the 4-way splitter in because we know we're going to need that. We'll plug these 3. I'll plug these 2 in for now. There's 1. We got 2. Let's leave this short one off by itself because it is a lot shorter. Three. And 4. And then you got your short one to plug in here. I'm going to take them right here and just start wrapping them up. Alright, so there's some right there. Just remember not to make them too tight. And that should be about what you want right there to end up with.
Okay.
Throw a zip tie
Zip tie.
right around all of them.
Got it. Nice.
All right. And since you do have so much room, you can just, on this particular bike, you can just tuck all of this right down in the big hole.
Nice.
All right. And when you take your seat off and look into there, you really don't see much of anything. And there you have it. Your installation is complete. Last few things you want to do is 1, walk around the bike. Just make sure everything looks good, it's working correctly. And just overall, nothing hanging down, no forgotten zip ties. Second thing you want to do is just enjoy them. And thank you for watching.
This has been a Fast Lights LEDs production.